Alright, so today I wanted to take a small break from my rant videos and do something a little different. So since I am a small channel right now, I just wanted to put a little bit of variety in my content. Definitely let me know if this is something you enjoy in the comments, and maybe this is something I'll continue to do in the future. But anyway, since we're getting close to the end of the year, I thought it would be fun to put together a video showing off my top 5 best games this year. Now, these are either games that I was really already looking forward to, so I knew I was going to buy them, or I ended up stumbling upon them by sheer coincidence. Either way, these are the games I really enjoyed this year, and so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into the list. The First Descendant. So this is one of those games that really caught me by surprise because I don't normally play the free-to-play looter-shooter type games at all. But you can call this a case of I came for the character designs and I stayed for the gameplay. It has very, very responsive gunplay, almost addicting. It's got really great character designs, obviously, and they're always pushing new skins out. You can say what you want about Nexon, but I have to say that this game was put together very well. There's a really nice social aspect to the game with all the little emotes you can get. And it's just fun kind of chatting with people in the lobby. Speaking of the community around this game, it is not very toxic at all. I've played many free-to-play games in the past, which is why I don't normally play them, and there's always been some sort of toxic element in the community. So far with this one, I've had a very positive experience. It's really fun going on missions, even with random people, because it seems like everyone's there to kind of help each other out. Yeah, sure, you got the few people who want to run ahead, especially if they're a bunny player, like myself, guilty as charged. Running ahead and killing all enemies before you even have a chance to catch up. But, you know, that is what it is, and overall, it's still a fun and enjoyable experience, even with random players. The boss fights can get really intense, almost to the point where they're a little unfair, but if you've got a good team and you can strategize, then you can definitely take those bosses down. And there's always that one overpowered guy that's willing to just melt the boss for you. If I had maybe one complaint to the game, I feel like there is a little bit of a steep learning curve when it comes to the progression of the game. There are tons and tons of guns, most of which you're just going to disassemble because you're going to focus on like maybe 2 or 3 of the ultimate weapons, and then that's what you're going to be using the rest of the game. Or there's the module system, which can get very complex. You just have to figure out the best way to optimize your character and which ones work great as a combination. That's really just leveling up in this game doesn't really seem to make much of a difference at all. And if you do want to go ahead and expand your character out and be able to use more modules and things like that, you end up resetting your level, so then you got to re-level back up again. I think that's one mechanic I find a little strange, but, you know, people, I guess, who have played Warframe would understand it. Overall, the gameplay is really responsive, the movement is really fluid, and let's face it, at least you have something pretty to look at while you're playing the game. Rise of the Ronin. This was another game that kind of caught me by surprise. I had heard about it previously, but it wasn't really fully on my radar. And then I actually watched a review on it, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to download this and give it a try. This was after I had already tried all the other games that I really wanted to play this year. So this is a Team Ninja game, and so you already kind of know what to expect from it. I really love Team Ninja's combat. They really are the greatest in the industry when it comes to the combat and melee gameplay. Ninja Gaiden has been one of my favorite franchises. I love the Dead or Alive series. And this game definitely has that flavor, especially in the sword play, in the stealth gameplay mechanics. And what's really great is it's got a really nice open world. If you wanted to, you could compare it to Ghost of Tsushima, just with a Team Ninja touch on it. I would also say that other games that's very similar to would be Nioh. I hope I pronounced that game name right. I love that game, and I'm not even sure if I can pronounce it right, but I digress. It's really fun to glide around on the glider, so it kind of gives you that little bit of sense of Zelda, for example. The game just has overall everything in it, lots of stuff to do, lots of side quests. It's pretty much a combination of a lot of open world games, and I love the fact that it's in feudal Japan. I really love the scenery where you can see Mount Fuji. And yeah, it's just an overall fun experience. It definitely has an interesting take on the story because it does have actual historic figures in there. Now, obviously, they take a little bit of liberties with how things may have really gone down, but from what I understand is some of it's pretty accurate with just a little bit of fiction mixed in there with it. Overall, if you like open world gameplay and good sword action, definitely give this game a try. Dragon's Dogma 2. This was very much an anticipated game for me when I first saw it announced because I loved the first game. And when Capcom finally announced this, I was like, yes, finally, after all this time, we're getting a new Dragon's Dogma because I know a lot of people have been clamoring for it. Am I disappointed in this game? Is it any better than the first one? No, definitely not disappointed, but as far as comparisons to the first game, it is a hit and miss. There are some things it does better, and then there are some things that I don't think it does as well. For instance, I really miss the Assassin class. I know you can make up for that with the Warfare class, but I don't know. There was just something running around with a sword and bow was just great for me, and that's just my own personal taste. However, it does include really good classes like the Mystic Spearhand, and the Magic Archer, I feel like, got a pretty good upgrade this time around. Overall, it's got another great little open world gameplay. It's got that great sword and sorcery fantasy aspect to it. I feel like it is a little more difficult, but that's okay. The combat feels a little more sluggish than the first game, but not by much. Overall, this is one of Capcom's best series, and I hope they continue to do something with it because we waited way too long for this game. I highly recommend it. Even if you just play through the story and you don't do much else, that's okay. But I will say, do the side content. There's lots of Easter eggs to find, and overall, it's just a fun game. And the combat is still just as good as the first game. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This was another major anticipation on my part. I played the first remake, loved it. This one was introducing an open world and being able to ride around on chocobos, which is really something I was looking forward to. In fact, I feel like they really did great on that, allowing you to climb up walls. You can go across, bodies of water with them. It's got a great story. Obviously, really iconic characters in this game. The story is fantastic. Yes, there's that one moment in the story, you all know what I'm talking about, that doesn't change from the original, but that's okay. It doesn't take away from the story. And they've added a few, at least enough new elements in the story to keep you hooked, and the graphics are just fantastic. I love the combination of the gameplay where it's action-based, but then still mixed with the strategic turn-based style. I do miss old school RPGs and that turn-based combat. I understand why we've moved away from it, but that's just part of my childhood, so that's just me being a little bit of biased. Overall, great story, great graphics, great gameplay, and you just can't miss with this game. I highly recommend it. If you're a Final Fantasy fan, you should already own this game. There's just no way around it. Also, don't forget when the internet broke after they showed off Tifa at the beach in that game.
Not even trying to play.
Did you miss us? Well, something wrong?
No, nothing. It's just hot.
Stellar Blade. If you have already watched some of my previous videos, this should not come as a surprise at all that this is my number one pick. This was something I was really anticipating. I was following this game back when it was called Project Eve. Back then, it was just some random gameplay clips that they were putting together, and it really intrigued my interest. I had not even heard of the company Shift Up during the time, and I was already playing Nike Goddess of Victory, didn't even realize it was the same company. And that's another game I do highly recommend. It's probably the only mobile game that I play right now. But anyway, this game, the combat is great. The exploration is great. I love that there's plenty of stuff to do. The main story is pretty good. Is it up there with Nier Automata? Almost. I would say this. Nier Automata is one of my all-time favorite games. And when I played this game for the first time, when it came out, I got that same feeling when I was playing it. So the fact that they did a DLC collab recently was just too perfect. But this game definitely has a cast of memorable characters. The combat is just fantastic. Some people might not like it because it's a little bit sluggish to them, but I feel like it's just a perfect mix between strategy and action. There's always plenty of Easter eggs and things to find. There's always something you miss. I'm on my third playthrough in the game now, and I'm still finding stuff I didn't see the first go around. I do love the fact that they have multiple endings and the added twist at the end. It really does set up a great sequel. I really expect great things when that happens. As far as a PC release, I will definitely be buying the PC release at 2 because I really want to support this company and what they're doing. Overall, if you have been considering picking this game up or you're on the fence, I highly recommend it. You won't be disappointed. It's a great game. You'll have a lot of fun with it. Like I said, I'm still hooked on this game, and it came out back in April. Anyway, guys, that is my list of top 5 best games that, for me personally this year. Definitely let me know what your top games are of this year in the comments below. And if you want to see more content like this, definitely let me know. Like I said before, I definitely want to add a variety of content for this channel. Here upcoming, probably in the next month or so, I'm actually going to do my first game review. The game Fairy Tail 2 is coming out, and I want to do a review on that because that is one of my favorite animes, and that is another game I'm looking forward to as well. Anyway, I will be going back to my usual rants here in the next few videos, and as always, if you like what you see, like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.